Today we're doing another leather vlog talking about photography and photo props. Also got a 3D printer that I want to talk about. A couple other things. Let's just get right into it. So I actually had pretty good feedback from the last leather vlog, so apparently it is a thing. I just wanted these things to be a little more informal. Anyway, the first thing I wanted to bring up is we're approaching 1,000 subscribers. That's absolutely crazy. I kind of started wanting to make these steps, but now that I'm at really the first YouTube creator milestone, I'm kind of in shock. So 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, to me, really, one, it means that people actually want to hear what I'm saying, which is really cool. And two, it means that I can open the community tab on my YouTube account. As far as I know, it just lets us kind of mesh together and become more of a community right on the YouTube website. I think it lets me put out posts of like pictures or ask you questions or do polls or that kind of thing. So I'm super excited to see that. We're at the time of me recording this video, 909 subscribers, and it's going up pretty fast. I would imagine that we'll hit 1,000 in 2 weeks or so, and that's crazy to me because I originally had projected that I should hit 1,000 by some point in October. So I'm really thankful to you guys. It's amazing. Just, yeah, thank you. Another thing I wanted to talk about today, but I just didn't really feel like doing a full dedicated video on this yet, is photography, more specifically props, different things you can use in your photos, just to kind of zhuzh them up a little bit, make them a little less, I don't want to say boring, but if it's just a picture of a wallet just sitting there flat on a table, it's a little boring. I'm sorry. We're going to talk about things that you can add to just give your photos a little something extra. Not stuff that's going to steal the show from them, but just accent pieces. Something that's going to complement your picture. It's going to make it look like, I don't want to say any picture on Instagram looks natural, but something that makes it look like it's actually being used. Like your wallet doesn't have its own dedicated table in your house. Maybe it does, but most people don't. So I've actually got a pretty decent amount of questions about photography as it relates to leatherwork, which is kind of also amazing to me because I don't want to classify myself as a photographer, but I guess I've been doing it for a little bit now, and I know a couple things. I'm definitely no pro photographer, but I have been getting a decent amount of questions about photography, and I answer the ones that I can. I do know some things, and it's just pretty cool that you guys are reaching out to me to ask me about something that I'm kind of learning myself still. Even as I just sat down to record this video, I just got questions about photography from a buddy of mine here on Instagram. And then the reason why I feel the need to talk about props is honestly just because my buddy released a new coin that I love and want to talk about, as well as I just got a couple new knives. And so when you get new stuff, you want to talk about it. So when you're taking pictures of your products, you definitely want them to stand out, right? So let's say this is my wallet here. Let's say that I just made this thing and I wanted to do pictures. I'm not just going to like throw it on a table and just snap a picture of that all plain. What's gonna look better is if I take this and I put it in some kind of container, say, look, here's another thing that I made too. Toss it in there, and then you can throw some other stuff you use in there. I have a shiny, it's I think like a gold-plated watch. It's actually not very expensive, but it looks pretty good in pictures. It's, you know, fancy enough looking. Toss that in there, and then, I don't know, here's my buddy's new coin. You see that? If I do that? Yeah, fancy, right? Toss that in there. I got this new knife from Civivi. I love this thing. It's pretty awesome. You can toss that in there too, and you know, arrange them in a way that looks semi-natural, and you just end up with a more interesting picture than having this thing sitting by itself. Now, why does it matter? I guess it doesn't really. For me, it mattered when I was trying to make sales on Instagram, because the more views you get on your pictures, the more sales you make. I make most of my money off of Instagram when I'm selling things. And I can feel myself rambling here, but I'm just trying to drill into you that just get a few other things. They don't have to be expensive props. They can be, you know, stuff that you're gonna use. I like carrying a pocket knife, so I probably don't need 3 pocket knives, but I like them, so I bought these things, or these challenge coins. Again, probably don't need them. They look cool. They're not too expensive. They're a little expensive, but they're something that I like. Same with anything brass I'm really into. This light's pretty cool, and I actually carry this thing around with me. Haven't really in the summer, but it clips to my jeans nicely in the fall and winter, and I like it. And then other stuff I have is just either stuff I already had or stuff that's cheap, stuff I found at thrift shop, or just I have my old man's a woodworker, so I have a bunch of different wood stuff. And even your leatherworking tools can be props. I mean, look at this thing. It's gorgeous, and this is arguably the best tool I have in the shop. So you just really want to add that extra something to your pictures. It just draws people's attention a little bit more, gets you a few more views gets you a few more followers, and snowball. You can see where I'm going with it. The other important part about taking pictures is just make sure you're editing them. I use Lightroom. I think the Lightroom mobile app's free, but I'm not 100% sure because I paid for it anyway. But also there's an app called Snapseed that's put out there by Google that is for sure free, and both of them do great things. Just learn to use those, edit your photos a little bit, and that goes a long way. If you put an unedited photo versus an edited photo, it's pretty crazy the difference. All right, and something else really cool that I wanted to talk to you about is I got a 3D printer. Now you might be asking, why the hell do you need a 3D printer to leatherwork? Well, short answer, you don't, but they're pretty cool. And they do a few things. Originally, I got mine to make leather stamps. So you can actually make leather stamps out of plastic using a 3D printer. They work really well. I know several people who are doing this. The cost of doing something like that means that you can make a lot of leather stamps and not have to invest too much money into it like you would with a brass one. Something I hadn't thought of that's come in really handy is you can actually use them to make reusable templates for yourself. So I'm working on a really long wallet right now that has a lot of T-slots. What I did is I actually made a reusable template for all my T-slots using the 3D printer. Now, if you have a laser, I would say laser cutting acrylic's gonna be better, or just if you wanna buy acrylic templates, they're not that expensive. But now I have a 3D printer, so I can print out all the different templates I want. Here's my outside card slot. And there's also a whole bunch of tools and different leather things that I'm finding plans for online that I can print. So I'm super excited to do some videos with the 3D printer. I'm just kind of trying to figure it out. It's really complicated. But as soon as I got that dialed in, we're gonna do some cool videos. And I think when I release templates, I'm gonna just start releasing a 3D printer file with it, just in case anyone out there actually does have a 3D printer or you plan on buying one, then you can make the reusable templates from there, and they're honestly really handy. I've been cutting my templates out of paper until this point, so this is pretty game-changing for me. Yeah, there's a ton of cool stuff that you can do with the 3D printer. I would recommend it if you have the cash that you can throw at it. They're not as expensive as you'd think. I have the Ender 3 Pro. I think it cost me under $300 Canadian. I think they're $150 American, something like that. And they're super cool. They have a lot of applications just outside of leatherwork. I bought it for leatherwork, but I've made a bunch of stuff at this point. Nothing too fancy because again, they're pretty complicated, but I'm learning. It's another one of those things. I'm also going to do a review in the coming weeks for the Power Burnisher. Honestly, since buying it, the thing's amazing. I've had a bunch of you reach out to me and ask if I still love it. I do. It's great. I was really just trying to kind of put it through the paces before I do a full review of it. It's awesome so far. I don't ever want to burnish anything by hand again. That's not true, but it's kind of true. Anyway, so I'll have a full review of that coming up soon, maybe within a month. Something like that. I still want to test it out, push its limits a little bit. But if you're already convinced, go ahead and buy one. I'll put a link to that in the description. I'll put a link to the 3D printer I got in the description too if you want to check it out. It is pretty cool, and if it's something that you're on the fence about buying, maybe this video will push you over the edge. Otherwise, wait till I do a few leatherworking 3D printer videos, and that probably would push you over the edge. It's pretty cool. Anyways, guys, that's it for another leather vlog. Hope this one helps, sort of. I was kind of rambly. They can't all be amazing, right? I mean, if every video's a banger, then none of them are. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here. See ya.